Well, you can do all those things and so much more. Just grab a seat in the chair or the floor. Sit back, relax, recline. Well, she drops another casual line. You're tuned into Casually Molly with Molly and Bergie.
All right, we're here. Welcome back to the Casually Molly podcast. I am your host, Molly Ambergy. Hopefully you're tuning in on some audio streaming services, or if you're watching us on YouTube, hello, there's my handle. Make sure that you give us a follow.
That shit is dope, man. That's good shit right there, man. I need to be around more money in my life. This is nice. They have you cued in when you're talking and stuff. I like this.
You know what? You just have to have people to support you. If it wasn't for Chris Denman allowing me to use the space and people that believe in the podcast.
That's my new friend. I'm getting rid of my old friends. You don't give me. Y'all my new friends. I done found a whole lot. Fuck your old friends. Oh, I gotta stop. Okay, I'm not gonna sit.
It's okay. I'm really happy that you're here. I just wanted to introduce really quickly, and then we'll get into the good stuff. Sitting next to me, again, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening, well, I guess if you're listening on audio, he's also still sitting next to me. St. Louis-based comedian. He is a writer for a web series called Co-Parents on YouTube, and he is a voice of the cartoon here right in St. Louis. What's up, dog? Give it up for Tommy Dangerfield. Oh, there you go. You really got to flex it out.
Flex it. St. Louis in the building. I feel good, man. This is nice.
Oh, I love it.
I appreciate you. Yeah,
oh, my gosh. Well,
I feel honored. I've been, some of my favorite comedians been on here.
Oh, really? Yeah. What? So name a few. Who's some favorite ones?
Stephen Hightower. He's one of the first people I got to see on stage.
Stefan Hightower, yeah.
Yeah, Stefan. He gave me some pointers, even though I didn't think he liked me at first.
Oh.
You know, Stefan got that demeanor like, what the fuck you want? Like, oh, man, he hella cool, though, man. Him, who else been on her? I just sang him.
Scott James.
Scott James. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm flustered. I ain't used to all these lights and nice stuff. It's just, I feel nervous. I don't know what to do with my hands. I feel like Ricky Bobby.
Oh my gosh, you're too funny.
I don't know what to do with my hands here.
Well, this is the best part about this podcast is that if I actually told Tommy I'm in some comfy pants right now, but you know,
I don't got on no shoes.
Up, yeah.
And my feet don't stink though.
Oh, there you go. That's
They're clean.
Clean feet is always good. I love it.
You gotta have clean feet. Can't walk in no woman's house feet stinking.
You're too funny.
Well, you could, but it's just wrong. It's disrespectful.
It's all wrong. You can't have stinky feet. But I appreciate you coming in. What have you been casually up to today? What's been happening?
Today I just been a guy who work and I hate people. I don't want to do it as my job no more. I just want to be a stand-up comedian. But I'm heard tonight there'll be a Legacy open mic. It's a comedy competition.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just going to perform. I don't do competitions well no more. That hurts your soul when you're not funny one night and just you feel like you lost it. Or you might have won and still lost depending on the competition.
Yeah.
The competition.
And that's with Word Up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Word Up, yeah, that's the actual competition. But saying to other competitions, have you ever been to some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helium, Funny Bone, a lot of just any really comedy competition, especially if you're in comedy, you probably can relate to the competition aspect of it.
It's the most funnest, nerve-wracking thing you ever do in your life. Mm-hmm. I thought I was gonna have fun. I did not. Oh. I did not. I was nervous. I was waiting there. I was like, I'm gonna make it though. I didn't make it. I didn't make it at all.
The thing is like a competition for people who are listening in, because we do have people who like appreciate comedy that listen if they don't know, is like it's just a different realm. Like when you're doing a show, you're like doing what you love. You're kind of in the moment, whether you're hosting, featuring. Again, I'm not a headliner, but I'm assuming if you're a headliner, you're doing the same thing. But a competition is just a little bit different in that the stakes are because you're like, oh, am I going to make it to the next round? And then sometimes a lot of the first round is about like people voting for you. Right. And then it's like the second round's like, well, now it's judges. So it's like, who's judging me? So it really is a different beast.
I call it a mind fuck.
Yeah.
I was nervous and for no reason. I'm so used to being on stage, I'm gonna have fun. And I got there, it was so not fun, no fun at all. So I said, if you're gonna do a competition, don't go in there trying to win, just go to be funny.
Yeah.
Then if you win, that's a plus.
Yes. Well, see, that's how I feel too. Like a lot of people, there was somebody that told me once at the helium competition, they were like, you were so relaxed. And I was like, yeah, because I was having like the time of my life. You was relaxed though. You was like, it was like, shit, I wish I had that energy. I was up there like this. So, laugh, people. I was nervous as hell. So it was like, yeah, I fucked that up. Well, I fell. Not last year, but the year before, I fell right as my set started. It was
Wow.
like, so Tina calls me up, Tina Deball, who's a local comedian here.
Funny.
Hilarious, like amazing. She's a winner. She was hosting the show because she won the year before. And she's like, yeah, give it up for Molly Ambery. So I like come in, and I guess there was like a slippery area of the stage. And of course, I'm in like these boots and I fall over. And I was like, all right, I just have to get up and address this. So I did. I was like, I'm a theater major. Shit happens. And then everybody laughed. And I just was like, well, if this is the worst that happened, like anything I do after is going to be fine.
That's gonna be good. You fail. That's it don't get no worse than that unless you like fall off stage too. Like getting off stage, then you just fucked up twice. I fell on stage before I couldn't get up.
What?
I made it a part of the joke though. Aha! People didn't know this part. I fell like a motherfucker, but I made it part of my joke.
Where was this?
At the Laugh Lounge.
Oh man.
It was on the Laugh Lounge. I had slid off. When I first started, I used to sit down. I was comfortable sitting down because I didn't know I had to stand up at all. I was comfortable. So when I sat down, it wasn't already set. So when I slid, boom, and I started talking about my grandfather immediately. This is how my grandfather felt. I was hurt. I think that's kind of how I fucked up my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got sciatica from the Laugh Lounge. I'm suing.
Right. If you are watching from the Laugh Lounge,
If the Laugh Lounge is still open, it was just not.
expect Jungle Law to be calling you at some point.
The law
Spencer
of the jungle.
Tegmeyer, he is going to be
Jungle
representing.
law. That joke is so long and it was so funny and annoying at the same time because it was funny. It was like, I get it. It is so hilarious.
Yeah.
Jungle law of the jungle of law, jungle
It's
law.
so-
It's like, this fucker's made this a genius joke. Because I never thought about it until I started seeing it. I'm like, cause you know you keep seeing the banners everywhere. I heard the
Yeah.
commercial, so he made that joke. I'm like, nah, it makes it so much annoying every time I hear it, see it now. Like, I hate jungle law.
Jimmy like cries, like almost like his face gets so red when Spencer does that joke
Because you don't know when it's going to end.
Hard. Yeah.
He's like, you got me again, motherfucker.
But speaking of jokes, you are a comedian as well. Here.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's funny, how long have you been doing comedy actually?
In January, it was 3 years.
I feel like you and I, maybe you started a little bit before me, but we kind of entered comedy at the same
year,
time.
yep.
And it was so like back in the day when I was on dating apps, okay? There was some dating app because I wanted to like kind of branch out from Bumble and stuff just because I like didn't really know. I didn't understand, and I was like, well, there's this one app. I don't even remember the name of it, but the very first episode I did of Casually Molly, which I was telling, was on my phone.
Okay.
Was like some of my
Hope it
girlfriends
wasn't
came
POF.
over. Yeah, right. It was not as nice as this. Like it wasn't good. So I remembered this guy messaged me, and it was also a friends app too, so people could make like connections and stuff, which I didn't think was a real thing until I used this app. And why I bring this up is because he was like, hey, you do stand-up comedy. I was like, I do. And he goes, do you know Tommy Dangerfield? And I was like, I do. And he goes, yeah, well, like, you guys should, like, be friends, like, work with each other. And then, like, this guy went from possibly asking me out to giving me life advice about being friends with you. So that way,
Shit.
in comedy. So for
I'll
the
be
guy.
bought some tickets to this damn show and you come over and talk to her. You bought some tickets to my show? Thank you, sir. Bring me in, but get you no pussy, though.
It was so fun. Well, then he goes, well, have a great life. Like, best of luck on your career.
He just...
I was like, what? And then we never, like, went out. Nothing happened. But it was just funny because I was like, I do know Tommy. So the next time I saw you, I told you what happened. And you were like, so out of nowhere, he just brought up me. And I was like, yeah.
That's just weird. That's still, I kind of want to know who this guy is because I want to know if to walk away from him maybe or...
Right.
Sell him tickets to a show. I'm confused by your whole approach with that. So, like, Tommy, you should talk to him, be his friend. Have a nice life.
Right.
That's
just
weird.
Like, this should be happening. So this is happening. We're friends now.
Wordplay should be having my podcast.
Just follow Tommy Dangerfield TV.
Right, it's on there.
But why don't you tell us a little bit? You are based here. Now, are you from St. Louis?
Yes, born and raised,
Born and
unfortunately.
raised. So some people, so I'm not from here, but some people say that. Like, there's some people who are from here and they're like, I love St. Louis. Like, this is my city. Or some people have like a love-hate relationship about it.
I'm on both
Yeah.
sides. I wouldn't trade being born here. Being born here made me who I am, but it's a hard city to live in.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that doing comedy and music. I did music first. It was like, it's a hard place to get music going.
I didn't know that.
I rap, yeah, that's why I got all the tattoos. And
Hey.
yeah, pretty much. I was a rapper and not a comedian.
Yeah.
But the music scene was different. Like, when you go out of town, you see different cultures and then the embrace. Like Chicago plays Chicago-based music. Now when you come to St. Louis, you get a Sunday night maybe, or Monday maybe an hour or some weird time frame. Like, so like you ain't really feeling the culture. Like the comedy scene here, we got a dope comedy scene, but we don't have a lot of headliners outside of here. It's like, that's crazy to me. I know some headliners here. Jesse Taylor, I'd be like, why he still here? Javon Bibbs, I keep going on. We got a lot of them. It's just like, it's a hard city to make it in. So if you can make it here, you're definitely the first person to ever do that. You make it here and not leave. That's impossible. You have to leave here. It says anywhere, but I don't see that. Like New York, they pretty much build their stores. Chicago, California, it's just they brand and build stores. It's like here, we got 1 billion stores that nobody really get to see.
Yeah, well, that's what's kind of nuts to me too, is where, you know, people, when I tell people I do comedy, people are like, oh, where do you perform? And I'm like, well, sometimes, you know, we have independent venues so for St. Louis Independent Comedy, when I'm trying to like update the website for that, and I'm like, here's what's happening here and there. And then of course, like you do have your club venues like Helium or Funny Bone. And it's like what's great, I mean, pre-COVID, obviously, like seeing Helium filled and like the Funny Bone filled and stuff. It's just been a different experience. But people all the time would be like, oh, I didn't even know Helium existed. Or I didn't even know the Funny. And I'm like, well, there's definitely those loyal patrons that are like making these shows happen. But then it's crazy to me how people are like, oh, I live in like Wildwood and I had no idea that this was a thing.
I'm one of those people. I got introduced to comedy, to the Helium, the first time somebody took me to a show. I feel like an asshole. That's how I got introduced to Ali Sadiq.
Okay.
It was weird. She was like, you want to do something? Let's go to a comedy show. And I had never been. Well, I've walked through a comedy show, but I've never actually sat and enjoyed one. So when we went there, Ali Sadiq, he was on stage telling the story, the Mexican Got Boots on story. One of the funniest stories I ever heard in my life. I was literally crying in church. And when he got on stage, I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And a week later, I got drunk and want to hang out at the Laugh Lounge. Somebody signed me up. I started doing comedy that day. But the Helium, I didn't know nothing about the Helium either. I had never knew. They said it's been here for 2 years. I'm like, how many came in the mall? 1,000,000 times. I never know it's a goddamn comedy club in the mall. Really? It's a club in the mall. Nobody ever seen this place. You go downstairs like, oh, it's an actual comedy club there. Wow. And it was weird. So it was like, people don't know because it's not really exposed. The Funny Bone, I only know about that because I started doing comedy. Before I started doing comedy, I never been to the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
I even thought about going to the Funny Bone.
And that's the thing about endeavors like that, is that when you are in it, you learn all about it.
Right.
You know, like I go in, like, again, the comedy I knew was really from Saturday Night Live
TV.
And then TV, like Netflix was like a key because all of a sudden it was like all these specials and like here I am in my life, like, I mean, I would like to also preface this is still happening, but like I was in my like early to mid 20s and I was kind of like, well, you know, I love theater. I love doing it, but I was always a comedic actress. And long story short, I would like I was like, these girls are like me. Like I relate to these people. Like I love Tiffany Haddish. Like I'm like, I still to this day, I'm so grateful that we have access to something like that. But I have people too that'll say the same thing where they saw a show and they like, you know, who was the person you saw?
Ali Sadiq.
Yes, and you were saying how you saw it and you're like, oh my God, I want to do this.
Right, because I had reached out like years before, people had told me I was funny, but I was like, I just use my humor for best of things, selling drugs, like this some trash ass drugs, but I'll make you laugh, don't trip off and take you to your car. So I was using my humor and my wit to do shit like that, but it was like, it wasn't going nowhere, so I reached out to Chad Wallace when I was on Facebook, just cracking jokes on Facebook all the time. He was like, man, start hitting open mics. And I was like, that sounds good. Fuck that.
Yeah.
It took a year later to go to an actual comedy show to see what you mean. I'm like, this is magic. So I can tell people my life story and then laugh at this shit, pay me for it. I quit. I didn't quit nothing. I just started comedy, but I wanted to quit my regular job.
Oh, yeah.
I still want to. I still haven't figured that out yet, so.
Yeah, it's hard when you're doing, because I have a day job too, and it's the same, like, it's very, like, you really have to be, I'm trying to think of a way to say this, but you have to really be a determined person, because.
Sell drugs.
Right. Just like, you know what, at this point.
Cocaine, you'll be okay.
I'm just going to so I was watching the OnlyFans documentary on Hulu last night.
OnlyFans documentary.
And I was like, I texted Jimmy and I was like, man, listen, we could have gotten a new house right now if I had started an OnlyFans account. Like, this girl just made $75,000 in 1 month, and I'm making an honest living doing this podcast and trying to do comedy when I can. What am I doing? I got a friend
making money off of selling people pictures of her feet. I was like, God damn, I wish my feet was pretty.
I know. I was like, I don't know if my feet are very good right now. So
I'm gonna start testing the wall. I'm gonna start posting pictures, see if somebody gonna bite.
And it's like crazy. Yeah, well, because there's other other comedians, there was a famous comedian that had I don't know, there's famous people, even if they're not doing like feet photos, they're just doing like shows on OnlyFans, like, we're talking about like intimate material where it's like, oh, we're behind the scenes, oh, we're doing this, and they're, you know, they're making money. So I was like, maybe there's Casually Molly's going to switch over to OnlyFans in case anybody
We got to show a little skin to get in, okay?
You got to get in this game. But speaking of getting into the game, you started doing comedy, and now what's been really cool is like, you know, what I kind of like about having you on is I've been able to hustle with you and everything, which has been kind of cool. Like we just did a show together over at the Crack Box.
Yeah, that was fun. That venue was dope.
Yeah, it's a great venue.
Don't ever do drugs on that venue though.
No.
Don't ever.
You fall right off
Mushrooms,
the
yeah.
stage.
You be like, I'm just gonna fall into this whole stage. I'm gonna live here.
It was, yeah. I just see, like I said, I feel like you've gotten so like comfortable with it. I always think you're having a fantastic time. Now you're hosting the open mic this weekend at the Funny Bone on Sunday. You're doing shows like. Like there was one day I think I messaged you because we were on the Funny Bone list on a Tuesday night, and I was like, that was your best set yet. And even though there was only maybe 15 people in the audience, people aren't masked, you murdered that room. Like people were loud. It was like there were more people.
I was scared. I noticed when I'm scared on stage, I go into a panic mode. So I gotta find the funniest thing in the world to think about right now. Like I gotta think about something fast. I gotta be funny right now. Right now I gotta be funny because that adrenaline. So I talk fast too. So that's a bad thing. I remember Tony Roberts pulled me to the side after breaking, I think, Willie Lynch Jr. up to the stage. She was like, "Hey, you funny, but slow the fuck down. What are you saying? I talk fast. What are you saying?"
Me too.
I understand. So I get it when we was on stage. I was like, "That's me. She a female me."
Yeah.
Like, calm down, slow. And you catch ourselves slowly coming down.
And I think it's just because we're hustling in between all these things. So we're like, now we have to hustle more on stage, and we got to get through this because we have all this material that we wrote down.
Right.
And then,
and we got to get it out. Y'all got to listen to it. Every bit of it. And it murders your jokes. Stepping on my jokes. It was a learning experience. It was happy. Like, when I met Tommy Davidson, he talked fast. He was telling me, I was talking about sets. I ain't got no sets like that. My set is whatever I wanted to be. It's like, just know your material. It's like, that was my biggest issue, not wanting to practice my material. I still had that issue, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, I don't want to feel like it's over practice when I get on stage. So I don't feel genuine. I don't feel like it's me right then. I feel like I'm on autopilot. Like, and how about this and all that? I don't like that feeling. I like the energy of being, like you said, when you first see me, I was full of energy and vodka.
Yeah, right.
I stopped doing that too. Alcohol would kill that too, because you would be on stage literally just on autopilot. I'm having fun. I don't know what the fuck I just said.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. And you guys have a good night now.
But the more I feel like, so this is something that I've learned from theater, and I've had to use that as kind of like a pacing thing.
That's a great thing to have.
Oh yeah. And even though I don't do a lot of like acting anymore,
I need to talk to you about that. We need some more actresses.
Oh yeah, no, I love theater. I really miss it. Like I got to do that movie this weekend, and that was really fun. But what I kind of learned about it, when you're thinking about like, oh, like I want to make sure I come off genuine, you always have to remember that it's a different audience every night. So, you know, it's like you can't like, you're like, oh, like I feel the same way too. Like even when I was in theater, I was like, you know, I don't want to make this feel like over rehearsed or fake. Like, how do I be as an actor when I'm pretending to be somebody else, like, but still make this genuine? And I'm like, oh, you got to trust the audience too, in a sense that like, oh, it's a new experience for them. And the same with comedy. Like, it's a new experience for them. They don't know you, you don't know them, but you're like, hey, we're gonna learn on this together. Eventually, I guess when you're a headliner, maybe you're known for certain jokes and whatnot, which is okay,
sometimes not even be a headliner. I remember a person got mad at me because I didn't tell a certain joke.
Really?
They said, I booked you to tell this joke.
Follows Tommy Dangerfield TV.
Dude got mad. I'm like, what joke is that? You know, the Tutti Frutti joke. The Tutti Frutti joke. I'm like, Tutti Frutti joke. Okay, I'm sorry, sir. I'll tell it next time. I don't know what the hell the Tutti Frutti joke is. I had a joke about Little Richard passing away, and I forgot about it, but it was part of another joke. I didn't think about telling it.
That's okay.
He was really upset about this. I was like, I'm sorry, man. Next time I see you, I'm going to make sure I tell the Tutti Frutti joke.
Was it like a private party, or what was the...
It wasn't a private party. It was like a little showcase they had put together in Centralia.
Okay.
And that was, he had seen me at the Laugh Lounge, and apparently I did that joke. He was like, I want to hear that again. That shit was funny. You talking about all the music and all that? I'm like, oh, okay. I don't remember that joke, sir. At the Laugh Lounge, I took that time to learn how to be on stage, but I was still freestyling and drinking on stage. So I really wasn't honing my skill like I had to until I started branching out to comedy clubs, all of them. So it's like, oh, I can't do that here, huh? Oh, they gonna book me, but I can't get booked because I don't look unprofessional. So it took a while to get that side of me under control.
Yeah, well, that's okay though. Like, I feel like there are, like, especially when I'm trying to do like raw material, bar mics are the best for that because you're like, oh, let me see. I really miss Wild Card. I would love to go back to doing that just because you could do like the pulling the cards and like kind of improvising and doing. But you know, when you are in clubs and whatnot, I love the professional setting of it. It's just a different environment.
You appreciate it once you get booked. You were like, oh, I gotta get my shit together. Okay, this is totally different. And it makes you appreciate the art too, because you get to work with headlines and start seeing how clubs are run. You be like, oh, I think this all fun and games. It's business. Yeah, that's what it comes into, the business part. So I didn't get the aspects. I was just like, I'm a comedian. I'm funny. People pay me to be funny. Okay, this stuff. Like, oh, I can be paid more. Oh, that could be taken seriously. It's just like, oh, get your shit together, sir. I'm like, oh, okay. At one point, my first year, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I really didn't. I love comedy, but I didn't take it seriously. I knew I was gonna be on stage. I was getting booked. I was getting booked places I shouldn't have been booked. Doing time I shouldn't. I headlined at a show that I definitely shouldn't have headlined. I had 10 minutes. I had 5 minutes worth of material. I was up there for 45 minutes. Yeah. I drowned. I did good for 10, 15 minutes. Drown. 5 more minutes, drown. Yeah. Y'all have a good night. It was terrible. It was horrible. They were like, you did okay? I'm like, nah, I should never did that again.
But that's so honest of you to say. And that's what I also like about you too. Like, you're definitely somebody who's trying to hone their craft and hustle, but you're also like a good person. Like, you're nice to people.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be. I'm an asshole at heart, but I try to be. You know, energy. You good to people that's good to you. Yeah. I'm an asshole in real life, though.
Yeah. Well, just watch out.
Yeah, just don't be an asshole towards me and we'll be okay.
Well, that's how I am, too. Like, you know me, I'm a relatively nice person.
You're a good person. I have never had a bad vibe from you ever, Molly.
Oh, well, see, but I feel like you and I, like I said, we connected like the moment we met. Like, you're like, I'm Tommy, I'm Molly, we're going to be friends. This guy apparently on a dating app said that too. So obviously.
He's destined this. He preordained this. You need to go meet Tommy. Y'all should be friends.
He's like, you all should be, you know, but I only like, for me to like have a problem with somebody normally means that they've like hurt me in a way or done something.
Or hurt somebody I
hurt
love.
Somebody you care about.
Yeah, that's the other way.
Which I think is fair, you know.
Right. You kind of got it coming to you at this point. So I get that.
But you, like I said, you've been really, not to use the word hustle, but you have been hustling. You've been doing a lot of stuff. One of them is that you have been a writer for a web series called Co-Parents on YouTube.
I'm a co-writer. I had to get my boy Beeman, Derek Williams. He's the co-writer. I'm the ideas. I have the ideas. He actually is the writer.
Gotcha.
Now I got the ideas that we came up with this together, but he's the actual writer. I just get the actors and the scenes and all together.
That's
I'm the
wonderful.
Eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched TV as a kid. I grew up watching TV. That's my thing. I got sitting in front of the TV and sitting outside. So I watched TV to the point where I want to be on TV, but I wanted to be a rapper. So the whole actor thing I want to be a rapper actor. So comedy never crossed my mind. I love comedy as a kid. I just sneak in my parents' room and watch Def Comedy Jam under their bed every night. Every time it came on, but I never was like, I want to be a stand-up comedian. Cause I got what they was doing, but I want to be a rapper. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to sell drugs a little bit, then be a rapper. But I got to sell the drugs first, then be a rapper. And it was like some goofy shit. Just growing up, and I realized this is not for me. None of this. When you realize you're bad at crime, it kind of hurts. It's like, I keep getting arrested, man. This ain't my job. This sucks. And I didn't even have the tattoos at that point. So it was like, all right, let me just start back rapping. I started working and rapping and never really went nowhere. Then I got on stage and it was like, this is what the fuck I supposed to have been doing this whole time. And it clicked like, oh, so I am funny. I could use my personality besides hustling people. Yeah. So I do be hustling, but just I don't hustle people no more. Right. I hustle jokes. I don't hustle people.
I just hustle some jokes.
Yeah, I don't hustle people anymore. You know, just jokes. Some of them are jokes, some of them are my life, which is actually a joke. Real life, I was talking to Richie James about that. Like, he was talking about writing. I'm like, your real life is the joke, man. Like, we got material that comes out the ass. I don't never have a problem. That's why I understand joke thieves. I got too much material. I can't even flush the shit out yet. Yeah. It don't make sense. Real comedy comes from heartbreak and reality. Kids. I don't even tell most of the kid jokes. I need to, but it's like I gotta figure out.
It'll get there.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's like, I don't want to embarrass them, but they get on my goddamn nerves.
Well, I think a lot of comedians make fun of their kids. So
yeah, I know it. I make fun of them in front of them, but it's like I'm trying to get it to a point where it's not as crazy. Cause real life stories sound kind of messed up when you first say it out loud. But like, somebody called DFS on me. That sounded bad. So I just left my kids in the car. Just outside for 2 hours. They were only there for 2 minutes, but it felt like 2 hours.
2 hours. Oh, yeah. That's a correct response as a parent if you leave somebody in a car for 2 minutes at your child and you're like, it felt like 2 hours.
Right.
You're clear, so that's okay. I
But
understand.
no, it's just like, when kids do things, you don't want to just go deep into it. But I'm going to go deep into my material because I do realize I'll stay surface sometimes. You don't want to get too deep sometimes, but you have to. You're a comedy, you got to get really deep.
Yeah.
I got a joke about depression. It's not really a joke, but it's really about depression. But it's funny because of the things I went through. Because if you really are depressed, you have a lot of funny things that happen, but you just don't say it out loud. But like, if somebody really seen me like this right now, they will think something's wrong with me. Like you just sit in the room butt naked crying. Why are you butt naked crying? I don't know.
It just comes out of nowhere, okay?
I was happy 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit, how can I make this funny?
And it sneaks up on you, and you're like, but that sometimes, you're right, inspires certain material, and you're like, oh, and especially now in these times where depression is probably at a height, people will probably relate more than ever. Like, I remember my sister once was like, well, I think I'm going to go see a therapist, and I don't want people to know. And I was like, I feel like everybody now is seeing a therapist. In fact, I read a New York Times article that they're like, mental health right now is so overwhelmed that they're not getting like calls back. So I was like, if you can afford it and your insurance covers it, I mean,
do it.
Or if you find a place that offers it, I'm definitely on board for that. But that's what I kind of love about your material too, and what I love about all comedians that do this, when they take something that could be super tragic or sad and turn it into something funny. And I feel like the audience, at least in my opinion, receives it pretty well. Do you feel the same way?
Sometimes it depends on the crowd. Sometimes it's some kind of like depression. Who the fuck depressed? We can't hear the laugh. I don't worry about your goddamn problems, so you got to throw a little flair into it. So that's what, kind of like comedy, you have to make some things that's not comfortable talk about funny.
Yes.
And that's the fun part about it, though. I like to see some people squirm a little bit, then they're like, oh, okay, I get it. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. It's like, because you're going to think about it. You're like, all right, like when I talk about, I got a gay joke about my cousin. It's funny because it's reality. It touched purpose. Like I had a show last Saturday, and it touched a couple people's nerves. It was like, but it's the truth though. I have a gay cousin, and she laughed at this because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of lesbians that got pregnant during this pandemic, and she was like, that ain't fun. I'm like, but it's happening.
Yeah.
It's weird, but people do things they don't normally do against during the pandemic, and it was a joke because it was like, damn. It's funny, it's reality, but some people ain't gonna find it funny.
Yeah,
but
that happens with material,
But that's the point of it, though. It's reality. Mm-hmm. So I don't really care about that part, but you don't want to be malicious with your material.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. Like, in the crowd, doing too much crowd work can kill a whole vibe.
Oh, yeah. You have to, and I feel like people I've seen do crowd work really have an art to it. Like, there are some comedians who I've seen that really know how to have the whole... Excuse me. Ooh, a little too much water here. They have the whole 45 minutes to an hour that they do, and it's mostly of crowd work.
Right.
But because they've been doing it for so long, they've probably been all over the country doing it.
They know triggers. They know what's gonna pick people's emotions. That's actually a craft.
You gotta read people. Same. That's why I don't do a ton. Sometimes if you feel like you have a connection, but I feel like I'm still too early in my comedy.
You will see the connection in that person's eyes. It'll be immediately. You'll be like, We got something here. If you don't see it, you be like, so next joke, that didn't work out.
But I feel you. But that's what I was going to say, too, with these experiences, do you and, was it Daryl? What was the name, the writer of the show?
Derek.
Derek, excuse me. Sorry, Derek. I'm like, Daryl.
Daryl.
Oh, my God.
My co-writer, yes.
Yes. Do you guys kind of use those experiences that you have and put that into the show?
The co-parent is actually based on my actual life, just tweaks here and there, because my actual kids was in the show. About me and my situation with my baby mama. It's basically a real storyline. I just added embellishments to make it more funny and take some of the real reality out of it so she wouldn't get so mad at me. Because it's my life, but everybody and my brother, my sisters, I got actually 2 sisters, only got 1 in the show, but it was just basically based on my life and being a co-parent. How I want to say this, we don't have a show for black male parents. Just a black man as a parent by himself. Ain't no show for that. So I want to create that type of thing. And it kind of got us different scenarios between different black families as a father, like the young one, the old one, the goofy one, the deadbeat. It's just all different spectrum. The second season is supposed to be like different spectrum. Like I want to have a Hispanic father, or I want to do all the male perspective. But it never went that far, so I'm kind of changing it around a little bit. But we're coming back with a season 2. It's just gonna be something a little different. It's gonna be from the male perspective, like dating in our 30s and being a father. That's totally different. I just want to show for fathers, so we get like we get neglected, I feel.
Yeah, I haven't. Actually, when you mention it, I don't think I've ever seen a show about that. I'll be honest with you.
I know somebody probably gonna steal my idea, but I'm gonna record it first, you bastard.
Sorry, I'll be like, if you could just tune into OnlyFans, Casually Molly, you're gonna see this episode, then it's gonna be great.
We're showing skin.
Yeah, we're just showing
little skins.
Yeah, just a little bit. We gotta get in this game, okay? But what's it been like kind of producing something like that and putting it together?
And that was if I didn't have my sister around, it would have been hell. Like my sister literally helped with all that. She did all the editing. I learned watching her a little bit, but mostly I'm with the phone. The computer's not my jam. I'm not computer literate at all. But her, everybody, I bought a couple of cameras. Well, she bought one, I had one. It was a good experience. Like I learned how to film things. I learned about sound, of lighting, because a lot of the sound and light on this show was trash. It was a big learning experience for me. It made me want to do more. Now we got 2 movies you just wrote. We're working on another web series, and we got the cartoon. It helps create more things. When you see you actually got something accomplished, like those episodes, it's only like 12, 15-minute episodes, but it took like hours to get all that together. Days, actually, then the shooting scenes. It made me prepare for like to want to do more movies and stuff like that, web series. I got bigger ideas. It's just time-consuming, and it's worth it. At the same time, it's stressful.
Oh yeah, well that's what's so crazy about filming, and even with like theater, is that when you're looking at something like a screen, I was just watching La La Land, okay, and I say this because having a theater background, there's a lot of dancing and stuff like that in it, and I related to that being in musical theater, and you're doing these tap numbers, and you rehearse the number for hours on end, because it's like you want to make sure that, especially with tap numbers too. I mean, this is with every number, I shouldn't say that, but I'm thinking of my tap days in musical theater. Everybody's leg has to match and everybody's arm, and especially when you have a stage full of people, if one person stands out from the other, you're like, no, like it doesn't matter how you look necessarily. It's really just about your movements, timing. If you for those of you who aren't even in theater, if you think of the Super Bowl, even if you're not a fan of The Weeknd, having all those people out
all those moving parts, that's a lot to keep together.
It was like that choreography alone, I'm sure, was a lot. Or even previously, Beyonce with all of her dancers at Coachella. Please, you have no idea. But why I say that is, it's you have 5 minutes of a dance number in La La Land. I'm sure that took hours to film. You have LA in the back. I don't know if they had a certain sound stage they were using, or if they were actually, I don't know the whole background of it, but I understand what you mean, because it is such a learning experience of lighting and sound, and it made me want to
do the whole team of people. I don't want to do that ever again. I just want to act.
Yeah.
Just let me act and write and produce. I don't want to do all the editing.
It's difficult.
Yeah. It makes you appreciate the people you're working with. It be like, oh, so that's what you have to do. I respect prices now. It's like, oh, I see why you want so much. This is a headache. I see why you went to school for this. It's not overnight. So I respect the craft for that too. But it made me want to do more. Like I said, we got 2 movies working on. And
so what are the movies about?
The first one is My Cousin Phil. It's produced by me and Philip Cornell.
Oh, Phil Cornell. Yeah. He's been on here. Yeah.
Even Phil beat me here, you bastard, Phil. But now,
he hasn't been in the studio though. But back in the day when I first started, he was on it, and he was very kind to be on. So
Phil, my dude, man, very good dude, talented. He's the writer. Pretty much, I have ideas, and people help me flush them out.
Which is a real life. You do have people who are they give a good basis or a premise, and then that's why you have writers to make sure that gets.
Because he seen what I was going. He said, "I see what you're going to do, but you do with this." I'm like, "Okay." And he sent me I sent him an idea. He sent me a whole different script. I'm like, "All right, we do this," and I sent him that. He sent it back. I'm like, "All right, well, shit, you didn't write the rest of the movie without me, sucker." Well, add this part in this, and then we done. Shit. But it's basically about a cousin who gets in trouble. He finds some money and he steals it, basically. Ends up going to his cousin's house far out in the county to hide out, and he brings all the drama and bullshit with him, including his girlfriend, He has a parties in the middle of COVID, so we're gonna pretty much. I want to do something we want to. It's actually
That's good.
with masks. It was like I keep saying things without masks. I'm like, yeah, I do know we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why are we not even watching this on TV? We don't want to see the reality, so I want to do something with that. So basically, we got Tenario in there. Who else? Roderick Lyles. It's a couple more. I'm forgetting right now. I gotta look at that long list of people on there. But we got that, and we got Straight to It. That's a movie about. It's produced by Brandon Taylor, me, Philip Cornell. I forgot. I don't want to get
That's
too deep into it.
Sometimes with production and stuff, especially when something is starting out, you can't always like.
I'm
name
trying not to
everybody.
give you too much and tell you what the whole premise, but we got 2 movies, goddammit. Shit.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of podcasts I'm listening to, comedy takes up a lot of time, right? Like it's very time consuming, especially if you're a road comic and you're going out on the road. So I feel like even though I do miss that community aspect of like, even going to see people at mics, I miss being like, hey, Tommy, like, how are you doing? What's happening? Like I have to schedule an appointment for you to come on my podcast. You know?
It's the camaraderie at the comedy club or at the mics. I get that.
Exactly.
You missed that part.
But it's now given the time for people to work on that screenplay, write that pilot, make something. And now you have What's Up, Dog, the cartoon, which I am so impressed has like a ton of subscribers on YouTube.
Yep.
And
that's
the
produced
quality,
by Nick Pyatt and Tenario Brown.
It's the pilot, the product, the cartoon looks like something. It's St. Louis based. We're not even in like LA, New York, wherever, but Chicago. But what's really cool about it is that the quality of it, like it looks like a cartoon that I would watch on Adult Swim or Netflix.
And that's all due to Nicholas Pyatt. Like literally when he started producing, we had
Nicholas.
Right. Tenario had the idea, and it was like we got this idea, so we started recording. It was like, hey, you know how somebody asks you to do something, you're like, okay, all right. Then you start seeing the actual work put into it. So when Nick gave us like it was probably like a minute clip. It was like, holy shit, we actually got a cartoon. Oh, I keep writing on this. And Tenario kept going, I got an idea, let's record this. I got an idea. Next thing we know, we got a whole full episode. And it was like, holy shit, this is an actual cartoon. Full of St. Louis comedians and a couple actors that's not comedians.
What, for those who maybe haven't watched it, what is the premise of it?
It's basically, the first season was like pretty much a spoof of all old classic hood movies like Friday, Men's Society, Don't Be a Menace, and pretty much a little dark humor with dogs. It was actually like a test idea I think Tenario had, and it was so good. It was like, we got something on to it. Let's add to it. Let's keep going with the storyline. And he keep adding to it and keep adding to the storyline. I think y'all really like the second season because it's more thought out and it's the production way better. Nick got great with this production. It looks
Is
way
he
better.
a cartoonist or?
He's a comic.
Okay.
He's turned himself into a cartoonist.
Okay.
He's a jack of all trades. He's in a metal band.
He does everything.
He does literally everything. I don't want to push too much of his business out there, but he does everything. He grows stuff.
We'll just have to have him on, and then I will ask all the professional questions.
He would tell you everything. The guy's a genius. Like literally, he did the audio. He has own Monster LLC. I looked it up on TikTok. A lot of our following came from TikTok. TikTok, like social, like this the time frame right now that gave me to bulk up on my social media. Like I couldn't do nothing outside, so I started hitting social media even harder. And that's what everybody had to do. In this era right now, social media runs everything.
Yeah.
If you got a decent social media account, I watched a person who was doing feature sets become a headliner. Because he had the material, he did the time, but nobody knew who he was. His social media picked up, he looked up, he had 1.3 million followers. Now comedy clubs in the middle of a pandemic like, you want a headline?
Yeah.
So he took that transition. Now he's making more money and chilling. It was like, damn, let me get my ass on social media more. So I'm already on social media, but it was like more I got to produce more quality content, or at least some people want to see constantly, some ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I was watching, as I've been watching a lot of documentaries, obviously, during this time, and it's just something I enjoy doing. But a lot of documentaries talk about, like, producing content, and, you know, I that's kind of what I wanted to have you on, too, to talk about. You've been producing a lot. Like, I look at your Instagram, you've got TikTok videos, you're making shorts, you're doing all this writing, you're producing this cartoon. Do you feel like that's kind of given you, like, I guess, like, do you feel like the pressure of creating more content, or is it just something that you feel like it's given you kind of a leg up into enjoying what you love more? Or do you feel kind of like it's a balance of both? It's
a little balance of both, because it kind of keeps me, like, it helped me, the videos, it helped me with my stand-up, too, because me seeing the videos and see my mannerism, I'm like, oh, I can use this on stage, or, oh, that's a good joke. Like with the videos, I just don't think about it too. People overthink it with videos. If you're just gonna do a video, just be yourself.
Yeah.
People want to see, honestly, they want to see you be yourself or how you really think. That's all it is. Now, you might not think the same way every day. Just give them a portion of your thoughts. Don't give them everything. That's impossible. Or you'll be on social media literally forever.
Yeah.
Just give them small clips. That's all people want to do. They want to see a glimpse to your life. It's just a small part of your life. That's it. And I got a million ideas. My brain is all over the place. You watch my social media, I'm a little bit all over the place. So it helps with that. And then the videos, things I can't use on stage, I put in the video. Mm-hmm. It helps with that, just being creative. Always trying to be creative because that helps your content, it helps your structure certain times, and it helps with your confidence.
Yeah.
Like I done met so many people on social media just from seeing videos. Like, damn, how do you start following me? You're in the UK. Yeah, you start showing your content, you start getting fans like on TikTok. That showed me to realize that strangers are your best support system.
Yeah.
That's it.
That
people that don't know you.
People that don't know you, like that come out of, like the guy who said we should be friends. Like it keeps coming back to this guy on my dating app. But
it's proof that it works.
It's proof that it works. And then now look, here we are. We're in this lovely studio at Midcoast, and like,
well, my name was popping up down there. Yeah, I'm on rich shit. This is rich shit here. I ain't on shit. I'm doing rich shit here.
Oh, I love it though. I love it. Well, it's just like radio.
See, it popped up again.
Popped up again. Tommy Dangerfield TV just added to that content.
Add to that there.
Added to the content. What was I gonna say? There was something though. Oh, but so you were talking about your kids.
Yeah.
Do they kind of do they know anything about you doing stand up at all?
Oh yeah, my kids support me. It's sad. My kids are my biggest supporters for real. My son, he love it. He wants to be around all the time. Like when the Laugh Lounge first opened up, I got booked to do. I was opening up for Mario Torre. It was one of my biggest nights. I was like, I'm geeked up. I couldn't get a babysitter. And dude that was working at the time, he said, you can bring him in the back green room. I'm like, it's a green room? We got a green room with the Laugh Lounge? They were like, yeah, just go ahead. They can right there chill. So my kids go in the green room. My son see me on stage. He said, Daddy, I seen you on stage. They was laughing. They having a good time. They be like, you proud of me, son? He's like, that's good. I'm like, I'm going to do this shit forever. Goddamn, I made my son proud. And he was like, all right, cool. So now, it's a couple years later, we at the open mic. He want to hang out now because it was like on our open mic, it's a restaurant. Then on the other side, we got the mic. So he want to still. I'm like, nah, you ain't finna do that. No, we're not finna do this. I mean, I got to be here all night. So my daughter, she love it too, but she's less vocal because she don't like me being out that long. So how long you gonna be gone? Do you have to leave? Okay, so can we have something that she try to bribe her way? So can you buy me something? Then I won't be mad. All right, we won't be mad no way. He don't care. My son, he my biggest supporter. He literally loves it.
Aww.
I think he wants to be a comic because all the comedians that see my son, they find him hilarious because he's always joning on people. Literally, he gets into it, Grant Nunn and Richie all the time. It's just back and forth. I'm like, y'all the same age?
Right.
He 13,
right.
14. Finna be 14, brother. But yeah, my kids are my world, man. They're the reason I even do this. So.
Oh, well, see, that's what I, and that's what I kind of hope to be, because I think someday I will be a mom, and
You'll be a dope mom.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
But that's what I kind of hope to do, because I think there's always, not necessarily, I don't think stigma is the right word, but a lot of people are like, if you become a parent, like, how are you going to be able to balance like comedy and theater and podcasting and all of these endeavors? And I remember seeing my mom as a kid. Like, my mom went and got a master's even before I was born. But then, like, even though she ended up staying at home later on just because it worked, because my dad had to do, he ended up working in Florida. My whole life is just crazy, but my dad was working in Florida. So it's just like my mom, my sister, and I, while my dad was going back and forth, like trying to make money, because in the clothing business, you got to like travel over the country. It was just the way that it was, but my mom would always be doing all these things and like working on the house. Like, she filled in where my dad necessarily couldn't at home. So it was like being two parents at once. And then, my dad would be off doing whatever. And it's whatever,
made you stronger
working.
For that too. Watching her, you had somebody to watch, and it made you work ethic.
Well, that's why I was like, my mom is just like painting this. My mom's like, the laundry room needs to be painted. I'll figure it out. Or like, this needs some handiwork on it. I'll do it. Like, I was like, that's exactly what I want a kid to see, is how your son probably feels. It's like, even if my kid doesn't want to do comedy and stuff, if they want to do, honestly, if my kid could just be a doctor, that would just be great.
That'd be great.
I was like, somebody can take care of me when I'm old. But I mean, obviously, I wouldn't care. I would just want my kid to be happy. But that's what I would do too, is like, even when you can't, your son's going to look back, like, you know, you couldn't get him a sitter or anything. Your son's going to look back on that time and be like, oh man, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah, they enjoy it. Every time I go out, they get to hang out with me, and it's that kind of environment. They love it. Like I had an outside show, it was like for a block event. They was having fun. I'm like, they like seeing me on the microphone. I'm like, people like you. They find you. My daughter always cracking the joke. I don't know how people find you funny. You not as funny as me, Daddy. I'm like, I'm honestly not as funny as her. She's brutally honest. It be sometimes she hurt my feelings. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm raising little animals here.
Well, the kids are so honest, though. Like, that's always the best part. I had, there was a kid that saw me once. It was not even a kid that was related to me, but I was doing a clean show, just like, you know, like comedy outdoors or whatever in Cincinnati. And this kid was just like, I don't know about you or something. I just was like, what? I didn't even believe
like, you don't even know me.
It was just like, and his mom goes, I'm so sorry. He's just like, I don't know how I felt about that. Like, it was so, I don't even know.
They're brutally honest, and you'd be like, what who are you, child?
Right. It was like the weirdest. Where was it? It was like some random thing.
It was a cute kid, wasn't it? It's always a cute kid to get away with stuff like that. Other kids don't get away with that.
And it wasn't like he even said it mean. He just went, you know, I don't know what I thought or something. And I just was like, what is happening? It was like one of these closed things, but like people could still walk by. We'll talk about it later. But long story short, this kid was like, I don't know. And then when I was a nanny, they used to come see my plays, and it was really cute because Lila, the young girl, I mean, they're all grown up now, but when she was younger, she was like, oh, I loved it. It was so great. And then her older brother, Sawyer, was like, I've seen better plays.
Little shit. I got a bad habit of talking too honest to kids, too. I got to learn how to. That's why I'm working on being a cleaner comic, because it's hard for me, because it's like, I just refuse to try to. It feels like it's like not being authentic on stage. It's like I curse in conversation. It's not like I'm trying to. Just sometimes I might say bitch. I don't know why. I just do these things.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to be on stage and be sometimes like, a B word should have been right there. I should have said it. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to work on that, and that's a part of the craft. Like I said, when I watched Mark Gregory, Dick Gregory's nephew, he did an entire weekend like one curse word, not even hell, nothing like, and he was hilarious. It was like, holy shit, I suck. Like, I suck. I can't do this without cursing. It was like, I was watching a master up there. It was like, okay, this really is an art. So when you master that, you really are a great comedian. Like, I'm just okay right now. I'm working on that part.
But you know, that comes with time too, because I feel like when you first go in, not for everybody, but I feel like that's what I was telling you earlier. For me, I dropped fuck a ton, and I didn't even mean to. It was just because of like my life experience and like not really having the most professional jobs, because I was in theater and a lot, not that theater isn't professional, but you know what I mean? Right. I was never in the corporate world. Like I was like, what the fuck, like this. So when I first, honestly, when I first started working I used to work at a hotel, that actually helped me get cleaner comedy, because at the hotel I had to practice, because I couldn't say fuck in the middle of a lobby, but then my boss would be like, hey, like, we love you, but like, don't just yell out. You can't keep calling people like somebody, and I'd be like, oh, and you know, you don't even think of it until somebody says something, and then I'm like, oh, well, then you get you get booked more when you have clean comedy.
And that's what kept striking. It was like, I can't get in these places. I'm not clean. They can't book me for these shows.
You just have to, well, and like that's a thing you can do too. Like sometimes with late shows, I'll drop a couple of fucks just to be like, oh, you know, like, doesn't want me to fuck up his life, right? Something like, you know, like the same.
And the cuss words are not needed. It just, I just like in the back of it's the back of my head thing.
Yeah.
I done did a show. It was like I cursed twice on stage. Why in the fuck I can't do that every show? It was like I didn't need the curse, just in the moment. Sometimes you just gotta say fuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it feels there's a. Have you watched the history of curse words on Netflix at all?
No, now I do want to watch it now.
Oh my God. It's like actually really insightful about the history of the word. And there's all like Nikki Glazer's on it and all this, but it's like.
That's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really, Nicolas Cage hosts it, which is even funnier because it's Nicolas Cage.
Right. That's my dude right there. My favorite actors.
Oh yeah. Well, see, and he's like, it is like the way it's like the way it's produced is really funny. Like he goes into this for those of you who haven't seen it, and meaning Tommy, there's
right,
like possibly
asshole.
Rick in the booth, we don't know, but the he like goes and it's like in a fireplace, and you know how he has that very like storytelling kind of like voice anyway as an actor, like many actors do. And it goes into all of these comedians, like Sarah Silverman, and they all talk about like why they use the word fuck or why they use the word pussy or like how
They
it
didn't
comes
have
out.
Samuel Jackson in there?
So I don't know. I've only watched a couple.
Okay,
of them.
I got to have Samuel Jackson.
With the go the fuck to
Man,
sleep.
got to have fuck from
That
Samuel
is the
Jackson.
best story with the little little kid books, and he's like, just go the fuck, because every parent feels that way.
I've
Just
said
add
it
that
before.
into
Just,
co-parents.
we didn't say it to their face. We whispered it a little bit. We didn't say fuck you, go to sleep into their face. We just thought it in our heads because we don't do that as parents.
Yeah. We just are like, he's like,
No, but when we did see that, it was funny. I was like, we have all been, especially with a newborn. Oh, a newborn that won't go to sleep. I remember
yeah.
Jordan, oh my God. Jesus Christ, I love my son. But I remember falling asleep with him before. They got pictures of him falling asleep doing this.
Yeah.
Almost falling out. Like, oh, shit. Hey, you all right? Yeah.
My mom told me once, she was so pissed at me. It was so, like, this is like, when you get raised by an Italian mom who's from Queens, you're just like, you learn everything. Like, there's no filter with my mom. She just tells you exactly how she feels when she feels it. But she was like, oh, I was so pissed at you one night when you were newborn. And I thought it was going to be like, because I was like crying or something, which also probably happened.
Yeah, it definitely pissed her off.
But what happened was my mom was trying to hum to me, and rather than me going to sleep, apparently I just hummed back. I was like,
Now, I like this tune. Let's keep it going.
yeah. My mom was like, you just wanted to start up some harmony, and I didn't want to be in the band. I didn't need this. Like, why did you do this to me? Like,
I just wanted to go to sleep, and you took it too far.
Yeah, I apparently was just like humming along, hence I was a theater major. But I will, so that's hilarious though. I love that your son is like into it. I think it's funny that your daughter's just like, come back home. Like,
Yeah, she don't really care. My other daughter, she don't really get to care either. I think she's gonna be an actress though. I honestly believe she's gonna be an actress. She's always acting. I've always seen her acting and playing in the mirror, just like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Like, I see what you're doing. You're practicing your next time to ask me for something or do something bad. Like, I'm just gonna cry like this. When I seen her practicing crying, I was like, oh, you gonna be a motherfucker. You can't be trusted. You practicing crying already? Jesus Christ, you're 3.
She'll be like, oh, the next Meryl Streep over here. There you know.
I'm pretty sure she would be one of the best actresses in history. I'm guaranteeing it right now.
I'm down. Let's do this. Kerry Washington, watch out. Okay?
Man, definitely, because she's practicing at 3, crying in the mirror. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. You were practicing? Oh, shit. Anytime you cry, I'm just looking at you. I don't know if it's real.
Oh, that's really cute.
Give me more tears. I need 3 more tears and I believe you.
Speaking of tears, actually, so we talked about the sweat and tears of comedy. Was there a time we were talking about learning a lot, like cussing, getting booked, clubs and things like that. But was there a time in comedy, it could be a good experience, it could be something that was like kind of a stumble where you felt like you had a good learning experience from it that made you a better comedian?
Oh, the first time I bombed. Because I had been on stage probably like 15, 16 times. And I was always doing decent. I did really good because I was drunk. So every night felt good to me. So I don't know if everybody like, you was funny. I'm like, oh, yeah, probably good. But the first time I bombed, it was a real life eye-opening experience. It felt like I was in a title fight. And I was getting the shit kicked out of me, and I could see my corner saying, pull out. It was Brandon Taylor at the time. He was sitting there looking like, get off stage, like, stop. And I'm just going further and further, just sinking to somebody's mama in the crowd saying something. I started joning on her, and then it went really left. Then it was like, now you talk about somebody's mother. It's like, she started talking to me first. And I didn't mean to disrespect her. I just told her to sit her old ass down, and it just was bad. So. Yeah. And I realized, bombing, you have to, if you're gonna do a show, make sure it's a comedy show. It's comedians. If it's not a comedy show, don't go in there expecting them to be there for a comedy show. It was like a rap event. And they just want me to be there to tell jokes between a contest, which made no sense. But I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. I was new, so I wanted to get stage time, and it was just a bad thing. Only do comedy shows. Don't do events that's not catered to comedy, because people don't want to see you. I learned that the hard way, and they didn't give a fuck about not one joke I had to tell. Nothing. They didn't care about my day. Nothing. I was just drowning. I'm like, so how's your day then? So, anybody want some juice? Anybody want some juice? Terrible. I'll
Those
cry
are always
a little
hard.
bit.
Yeah, because it's like, well,
Not literally, but I was mad.
you are so dedicated to this craft of comedy. And then when you do something, like I've done comedy at a wedding before.
That had to suck too.
Yeah. It was like an interesting experience. It was my friend's wedding. And the thing is, like, everybody, I knew a ton of people in there because it was people I went to high school with and their parents and all this stuff. And then I also was the MC for it. So I was like, coming down on, we've got this bridesmaid and this. And I also had the groom side was from Denmark, so there was all these different names, and I was like, oh, I hope I'm getting this correct. But
okay.
I only did, and it was when I was first doing comedy too. And Katie has been so supportive of like everything from one of my plays in high school, like my comedy stuff. She saw other plays I produced after college, like. She was great, and I did like 5 minutes, but what made it work was that sometimes and I've seen other comedians who come here do this too, and I'm sure all over the country, but I did a lot of Cincinnati jokes because I was from there. I grew up there. I knew that a lot of these people were kind of like here, like born and raised St. Louis, born and raised Cincinnati, Ohio. So that's what like kind of helped it a little bit. But when I started doing other material, like things that I would do in a club, or it just wasn't
hidden.
Yeah. People were like, we're like a little drunk and we've had some champagne. Like I only say like drunk on love that we saw at the wedding. Later on, I can't speak for, but you know what I mean? Like people, like we had a wedding, we were just having hors d'oeuvres and like all this stuff. So it was just it's just a different animal in itself. How have you felt about like Zoom shows though? Have you done any of those?
I couldn't get into it. I watched one. It was like, I need energy. I'm not afraid to say that. I like to hear the crowd and actually in real time. So when I seen that and that laugh was off, I was like, ooh. I just stick to doing videos. if I'm gonna practice my stand up, I'll shoot a video out there, see what certain jokes people like, and then keep that to myself, and then add it to other joke or something like that, or hit an open mic that I feel safe going to. That whole Zoom show, I need the crowd. I got to hear the crowd. I watched it. It was like. I don't watch somebody kill on the Zoom, but it's like you could hear the crowd till like seconds later. Like, I'm like, so damn, where he gonna get to the next joke? So it's kind of throwing you off too. So you like, oh, now they laughing shit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, the timing was off because it's comedy about timing. So if I can't hear you laughing after I made you laugh, I'm confused with what the fuck I'm at in my set. Mm-hmm. Then that's when you got to be robotic and like, I'm just telling jokes now. I'm just telling jokes. That threw me off. I couldn't do it.
It's a different medium for sure. Like that's why podcasting has been good for me during all of this because you know people watch podcasts on YouTube. People listen to them on audio.
I listen on YouTube. That's crazy shit ever.
Yeah, or I've had that too, where I have seen people like put their phones up like this, and then they just like I've done it too because I do this when you're like by yourself at your desk or whatever. Like I do it with the Two Funny Mamas with Sherry Shepherd. Right. I have their YouTube up, so I'll like kind of laugh. I'm like, oh, Sherry, like we're best friends or something. But then you have the earphones in, so that way if I have to print off paperwork or do something for a lease or whatever, but I still have the stuff going on, so that's not too foreign. I do find though I've made some good connections through Zoom shows from people maybe I wouldn't have met.
Right, I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Like I've gotten podcast guests out of it where I'm like, hey, you were really funny over Zoom. So would you do it the same way? I said, not necessarily a set, but would you be this way as a guest?
I kind of talk to you and it's worth talking to you.
Yeah, like I was like, you just kind of feel that energy. It doesn't happen all the time, but I've had a few people who I now have a continuous friendship with because of that. So, but I've also heard that too. I don't do a lot of Zoom shows either just because it's hard, unless it's a good friend. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, somebody asked me to do it, but it was like, nah. My phone's shitty. I got a terrible phone. I made that 3 excuse. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. If you see this, I'm sorry. I had a bullshit excuse. I'm sorry. Fine. I didn't want to do it.
I know. We're also friends, guys. So
we good. I love you. I do when I come out to your regular show. Fuck your Zoom.
No, we just gotta do some V-Mix over here. Just gotta come out.
I could do it. I watched somebody drown on that shit too. So it was like, so you can bomb on a Zoom? Oh hell no! I don't want no parts of this.
Well, that's even worse because a lot of times what I found is that like some showrunners for Zoom shows are like, hey, if you laugh, that's totally fine and you can interrupt it or whatever. But it is weird because you're like, so And then like if you say something that's funny, you're like, am I leaning in too much to laugh about what I said, or am I leaning forward? I don't know. It's like it's just a weird vibe, but at the same time, like I said, I've made connections through it. So I just wanted to know how you felt about it.
Yeah, I couldn't get that. And I was, like I said, I've seen a couple of them at work. Just like, I just didn't want to do it personally. That was it. I watched a couple of them, but they were trying to get us to do one. I think a Black Pack one. But it was like, I don't want, y'all could do it. I don't personally want to do it. I think Brandon did like 3 or 4 of them. He was actually working out. Like, he was in whole room. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't doing that.
I was going to ask you about that too. The Black Pack mic,
oh, yeah,
speaking
every
of.
Thursday at the Ofer.
Yeah, that's been super fun. The Palace, as I like to call it.
The Ofer Palace.
Yes, I feel very regal. How did that all come about? Like, actually, I don't even know, how did the term Black Pack all come together that made it into a mic now?
Jason Nelson actually started it. It was something he had brought up in a group text, and then he quit the group text. Shout out to Jason Nelson. Then it basically, we was always together, always doing stuff, and just kind of like, let's make it official. It's pretty much what it was. And he had the name, and he wasn't using it no more. Like, we're going to use the Black Pack. He's like, oh, yeah, you're going to do it.
We'll just take it.
Right. But no, he actually a part of Black Pack, whether he want to admit it or not. Focus on the funny, Mr. Sir. Black Pack member. Him and Marquise Moore, with the kids, they don't want to admit it, they are Black Pack too. But it's basically, it's all just a bunch of comedians that came together, start doing shit together. That's all. We doing social media, like skits together, working on movies together, the mic, showcases. We did some on last Saturday for Valentine's Day weekend over in Illinois. That was a good show. It was a rough show, but it was a good show. It was a rough show, but it was a good show. But that's all it is. We're just trying to get together and do more stuff. Like when I first started doing it, I've been trying to get all the comedians to get together and do stuff like Chicago or Atlanta or New York. Everybody just don't work well together.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's what you learn too, even in this medium as well for podcasting. Like I always make a joke, and I know other people have done it, so this is not my rights at all, but I feel like I'm almost becoming a professional podcast guest. Like, people are like, hey, come on my podcast, or like, be on my podcast.
I definitely want you on mine. I'm like, she actually know what the fuck she doing. She can help me with structure.
Oh, well, that's so sweet. I just think, because people are like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I think I'm going to start a podcast, just because what the hell else is there to do, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like I almost didn't even want to start one, because I was like, oh, podcasts can be oversaturated. Like, but then eventually you kind of find a purpose in it, and you see it. And like, at least for me, it's almost like a master class of what other people are doing and how they're doing things. Or like, Tommy, I get to actually sit with you, and I was like, oh, you were a rapper? Oh, you're doing all these ideas?
I've done a lot of things.
Oh, you've got all this stuff. Like, you've done a lot. And then, you told me about your kids. So yeah. So pretty cool. Like, I was about to say, what do you not do?
What I not do? I don't play any instruments.
That's okay.
I'll try to do anything that motivates me to do more. I like the cartoon thing. I'm working on a cartoon too. It's called Warehouse. That's why mostly my jobs have been in the warehouse, because I don't have to talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible. I talk crazy to people. I couldn't do it with regular jobs. I realized that's why I'm good at comedy, because I can say what I want to say, and I get paid for it. So at the warehouse, I ain't got to talk to people. I ain't got to deal with people. So I got a bad mouth. So I usually say what's on my mind, and it's not always a good thing. But being working in warehouses, I realized ain't no TV show about this. Ain't no really, and warehouses, if you ever worked in a warehouse, it goes down in warehouses. You see a lot of shit. Don't trust your girlfriend or wife if she work at a warehouse, or your husband. They all cheating.
What was that guy where he's like, hide your wives, hide your husbands, it's about to get crazy in here or something? I feel like that's
how
what
the warehouse
is.
And I worked in a lot of different warehouses. I didn't put too many people business out there, but I done worked in a lot of warehouses. It was like, people are crazy. That's why they work in the warehouses. Don't nobody see the crazy people. That's what they send them to warehouses and post offices. That's why all the crazy people work at. In the back of places, and shipping. That's where all the fucking crazy people are. They're aliens. Aliens do exist. They work in shipping.
Well, it's hard to see. I work in the front, where I have to see people like,
you're not
all
an
the
alien.
time. Yeah, but it's still difficult. Like, I think, and that's the issue, is like, people always expect you just to be on. So somebody one time was like, you weren't as excited the other day as you usually are. And I was like, I'm tired. Like, I have feelings. I work every day, and then I do all this other stuff at night. Like, I was like, or sometimes too, because I talk to people all day, if I'm not podcasting or doing comedy or whatever, like basically I'll just go home and I just need to like detox and like watch something. And again, it's different with kids, and I understand if I had a child, I'd be
I close my door on them kids sometimes. Yeah.
Like,
y'all okay? Y'all ain't good. Come.
But people are so, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but like people are so weird where they're like, well, like, I never hear from you anymore, or like this. And I'm like, I am so tired. What is wrong with you?
And I get that a lot. And some people will say, you don't fuck with me no more. You don't hang out with me no more. It's like, I do comedy. Like, if you want to see me, come to where I'm going to be at for sure.
Come to a show.
Right. Come somewhere you know I'm going to be at for sure. You know I'm going to be at a comedy show. After
like my page.
Right. they see you on social media and say, well, come to my house. I'm asleep right now. If we want to hang out, come where I'm at right now.
Well, especially you have so much, like, you're working, you have the warehouse, you have kids, you have, dreams, endeavors, things. So it's like, I don't have time to hang out with you.
Right. If we're going to do it, let's do it at a comedy spot where I'm be it for, that's why, and it do strain relationships too. Like, I would thought being in a relationship with a comic, it'd be easier, but it's not always easier too.
Oh, trust me.
Yeah.
And I love Jim, I love him, but there are definitely times we butt heads too. But that's normal, and I'm not saying that to throw shade, but I get it.
I get it. You're right. It's like,
oh my goodness.
Damn, like, so who gonna go out tonight to perform? Are we both going out? Oh shit. Who gonna watch the kids? Oh shit. It's like it's and then now I don't have that issue because we different. We separated. We're not together, but it's still like, damn. So who gonna leave and do what?
Yeah.
Like, one of us gotta hit this road. One of us gotta go. So I think I'm gonna take this step and leave first, and come back, I guess. But we have to, like, as comics, you gotta get out of our cities. And a lot of comics get stagnant, staying in one spot, and I don't want to be that comic. I done watched it happen to a lot of good comics that just stay here too long. They ain't go out and venture out, but it's a big world.
Yeah.
I understand COVID right now sucks.
Yeah.
COVID has turned everything up, but social media, that's where I want to try to get comics. We're more than comedians. Like, you do a lot of different shit. I didn't know they did a lot of shit. I didn't know this is, but you can use that. Right. I was saying, we learned about each other. Like, we do more than just comedy, so that should reflect in everything you do. Like, show the world that you're more than just a comedian. People don't want to see me because I'm just funny all the time. Like, oh, you do this? Oh, well, he did this. It make you more interested. It make more people want to follow you, I guess, because you're doing more. So I try to tell everybody, like, get on social media. Oh, that's da. Do something else besides comedy. You ain't got to be on social media being a comedian. You cook. Show people how you know how to cook. You know how to build shit. Show people you build some
Cooking
shit.
with Kush. There you go. Yeah, with Reggie.
That's what I was telling him. He does. Use what you do. We're more than comedians. We ain't gonna be funny all the time. I don't wake up funny all the time. I just told somebody that. I wake up depressed sometimes. Like, you know what?
Right. There was like a week when I was transferring from one job to the other because I had lost my job, and then I was like starting another job, like, and this is of course all happening through COVID where we don't have any like artistic outlets.
That's right.
I just like woke up every morning crying, which I know is very hard to believe sometimes, but it's just, you just wake up because you're overwhelmed, you're tired, you're learning all these, it's just like an overload.
You want to just lay back down, like, fuck this. I just start back over.
I just wanted to go back to bed.
Right. You're like, I want to start over. I do this again tomorrow.
Yeah. I just like got my coffee. I'm like, okay, this mug says Caffeine Queen. I don't feel like one right now, but like, Jimmy got it for me. He was like, I thought this mug was great for you. And I was like, I really appreciate it. That's very cute. But I
don't care right now.
I'm just I don't feel like any royalty. I feel, it's just, so I get it. Like, people feel like, I guess when they see you on stage, they're like, you must be like that.
All the time. It's not.
You're not.
We wish we were. Right. I promise I wish I had that energy all the time. I wish I had the energy right now. I'm still like, I want to go lay down. But after this, I got to go practice some more jokes.
Yeah. So. Well, that's the thing. I feel like I have to, well, speaking of, before we leave, we'll kind of end this in a second here, but you've been doing comedy, you're doing all this, you've given a lot of great advice, but if there is one piece of advice, whether it was given to you from somebody else or something you've experienced, what would you maybe pass on to somebody who was maybe in your shoes trying to pursue comedy?
Enjoy this bullshit grind. Because one day we're going to actually look up and it's going to be like, damn, it's over that fast. Because 3 years went by fast for me. I looked up, I'm like, I'm 3 years in this, and I still don't feel like I accomplished enough, but I've accomplished a lot. Whether I feel like I did or not, it's just like, enjoy the grind. It's a lot of people, we get so frustrated because we think we should get these opportunities or we should be doing bigger things, but it's all a process. Like, when I got to, I skipped a lot of shit I wasn't supposed to, and I paid for it later on. The experience is a motherfucker on stage when you don't have it. Like, you're up there doing time you ain't supposed to be doing or accepting money you shouldn't have because you're just trying to be a part of the grind. life will even your ass out. I say it like that. So enjoy the grind and practice. Love this shit and make it your art. Make it something you really want to do and take it serious. Mm-hmm. And you have to take chances. Everything about chance. If you ain't taking the chances, you ain't doing nothing. Every time I do something, I take a chance.
I love that. Take a chance.
You have to.
Yes.
Like, it might fail. It might. I had a video that I didn't think too highly of. I just didn't. It did 100,000 views. I'm like, I didn't even fucking think about it. But all that, like, because you gonna have things you put your love and care in, and you know it's gonna be the best thing, your best skit or your best joke, and it's just like nobody cares. Nobody likes it. Just keep going, bro. Like, it's gonna be something that you do that's gonna change somebody's life. Like, I didn't get inbox from people telling me, man, you make me feel better about myself. I get depressed and I just look at your video, I just start laughing. I'm like, bro, I'm glad I could do that. Sometimes I woke up depressed making this fucking video. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad somebody cared about it and liked it and shared this shit, and now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, that's the thing too, like, especially if you like something. Like, that's why I put so much effort even in doing, like, the little promo, like, where I'm like, send me a headshot, do this. Because
that shit was dope. That shit make you feel important. Goddamn.
It makes me feel good to create it because I get to do an artistic outlet by doing it because I'm like, oh, how am I going to design this? Or like, and I loved that photo of you because you had that light coming down on you.
Shout out to A.G. Shaw. He did that. He made me stand so when I'm Ricky Bobby with Fidget. I don't know.
It was great. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to even enhance that more. So I like enhanced the lighting just a little bit.
It looked good too.
Just to make sure when it was coming down.
I got all lights in that picture. All the girls want to have sex with me now.
Oh, they do. They're going to call up and just like casually subscribe to this podcast.
And make sure y'all subscribe. What y'all doing? Waiting all day. This is a good ass show. I'm coming back when she let me.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, absolutely. I've booked next month and then I've been trying to cover everything.
Right.
And my gosh, and I didn't even realize this, but you're closing out the month of February for us. This is crazy.
I'm the black guy. I'm closing out Black History Month.
Oh, you
and I'm Funny Bone. I'm all black. This black pack. Shout out to y'all. It's all black thing.
Tommy, this is just Kismet. I didn't.
It is.
I
didn't think about that either. I'm sitting there like, that is some shit.
Yes, because I was like, February ends like Tuesday.
Yeah, literally.
So you closed out the month of February. You closed Black History Month.
Yep, I closed it out. I am Black History.
Oh,
I made it. I made it. I'm Black History, baby. I made Black History. 2021 is my year. Remember I said that here.
Oh my God,
we can rewind this. Remember I said this is my year, like 20 years from now when I said it was my year. Yeah, that's what
this was the year.
This is the year I said this is my year. I said that last year too, and Corona happened.
Well, I feel like a lot of people said 2020, myself included.
Man.
I was like, oh my God, I just hosted for 2 shows, and
we started out so good, man. I was the helium. I'm like, yeah, we did it.
Right. We were helium. We were like, yes. Oh my God. But you know, I will say, shout out to all the clubs here and everybody who have.
Shout out to Chris Sear too for the Crack Fox. That's
Chris Sear at the Crack Fox. Everybody that I've been working for has really been doing great safe protocols and things like that.
And good showcases too. Like everything I've been part of, I've been some good showcases. I'm not gonna lie, I'm grateful to even be still working in this shit.
Yeah,
it's a blessing.
But speaking of working in this shit, why don't you tell us all the shit that we can find you
on? YouTube, Shit Be Happiness, SHYT Be Happiness podcast that she will be on too. Find me on Instagram, Tommy Dangerfield TV, Facebook, Tommy Dangerfield, Snapchat, Tommy Dangerfield.
One of those.
Yeah. TikTok, Tommy Dangerfield. I'm Tommy Dangerfield. That's only one me. You can find me on everything. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shit Be Happening. Subscribe to What's Up Dog. That's on YouTube. What else? Monsters LLC, that's on YouTube. Nick Pyatt. What else? Ofer, we got the open mic. Winging Wednesday at Legacy every Wednesday. Black Choice, the host. If I forgot something, I'm sorry. Fuck y'all.
It's all right. We'll keep following up. I love y'all.
I'll be back. I'll remember it next time. I'll write a list of shit I'm supposed to remember that I ain't gonna remember.
Oh, I love it. No, what happens to you when you're like, share every promotion?
Right. I was like, we got a show that it's not gonna, don't even worry about that. But Mary got a show, Blazer Stage, this Friday. By the time y'all see this, it'll be over with. Sorry. So I said to Mary, we're gonna kill that shit Friday, but they ain't gonna see it because
go Mary.
Yeah. Shout out to Mary Jane. We got a lot, like I said, we got a lot of Tina DeBall. I did a show, Rafe. We got a lot of dope ass comedians here, man. Shout out to Chad Wallace too for the info. I'm finna doing some shit with him.
Chad Wallace is great too. I missed the comedy shipwreck open mic. I
do. He was just talking about that. He said he didn't take advantage of it. I'm like, I feel that shit. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Jason Nelson, shout out to Jason Nelson. He gave me my first shout on the road. I feel bad because he didn't know I was just doing comedy like 2 months then. He took me on the road.
That's okay.
And I didn't tell him till like the day of the show. He was like, what? He was like, yeah, that's on my second month. I'm gonna do good. And I
Don't
did
worry,
good.
I got this.
Yeah, and I just did good. Like, thank God. But
that's what we need in life, for people to take chances.
give you chances
on us.
there.
Yeah.
And words, like Marquise Morgan gave me a lot of notes. When I go on the road, Jason Taylor vouched for me, riddles for up in Chicago with Damon Williams. Like, we got a lot of dope comedians here, man. I respect a lot of people that fuck with me, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, make sure that you also...
Shout out to Party B, Precious J Country, as my baby motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. They're fantastic. Listen, the list could go on. You should, especially for St. Louis independent comedy, please make sure to look up the St. Louis independent comedy pages, like the website, the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
I gotta get a Twitter. You're right. You gotta get a Twitter.
See, I just got into my Twitter too, so it's okay.
I suck at Twitter. They never like retweeted me. So like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, we'll get into retweets too later on. But just remember, speaking of casually liking and sharing, just casually subscribe to the Casually Molly podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We don't have TikTok yet, but who knows?
I'm gonna help her get a TikTok popping. That's where all the shit at.
You gotta teach me. See, I'll help you with some podcast stuff, and you can teach me TikTok. All right, great.
That's what I'm talking about. Teamwork make the dream work.
Oh. See, I'm like, we made this work. Teamwork. Well, I always ask everybody, once we're done with the episode, what are you going to casually do now that we're done?
I'm finna go to the open mic at Legacy and work on some material.
We got to get him there.
I'm good. I'm probably going to walk straight on stage.
just like walk on there. Well, he's going to head to Legacy. I'm going to head home and eat some food. All right. Bye, everybody.
Y'all be easy. Subscribe, goddammit. Hit the button. Somewhere, now put the button there.
Subscribe.
It's going to be somewhere in there. Put the button. Hit the goddamn button.